Here at Zenico Racing, we look at options that you have as a parent. So your child is probably going through the corporate karting, hire karts, but where do you go next? They've got the bug. Do you go out and buy your own kart and enter the world of owner karting that can be very, very expensive? Or is there something in between? Well, there is. It's called Arrive and Drive. Here at Zenico Racing, we've had the privilege to look at some of these Arrive and Drive options. This video is about the Daniel Ricciardo Series. It's in two parts. The first part is basically me interviewing the CEO of the Daniel Ricciardo Series, asking those questions that I want to know as a parent. How much does it cost? What is it involved? And the second part of this video will be released very soon, is when we turn up as parents and we put our two boys in their karts and see how they get on. So enjoy the video, and if you got a kart series or an Arrive and Drive you want us to review, give us a shout, and remember, like and subscribe. Welcome, we are joined by Andy COX, the CEO of Daniel Ricciardo Series. Thank you, Andy, for letting us come and have a look here today. So,
did you get wet? No, you look very dry, look at me.
That's because I've taken my jacket off. So the DRS Daniel Ricciardo Series Arrive and Drive Academy sessions. So we've come to experience it today, but can you just tell us a bit more about it?
Well, what days like today are about are for the parents to understand how we work, and for the kids to actually come and get used to the karts, and also get used to the system of, you know, going on the grid, adjusting the seat, adjusting the pedals, getting in that sort of zone, turning up on time, really learning about the day, because there's so much more involved in karting than just turning up and whizzing round. As you probably saw today, we are big on safety, you know, so it's important that the parents understand that. We transmit that to the kids, but also the parents pick up on it, so that when we're not speaking to them, the parents are trying to speak to them. I saw that
you had a lot of people out on track today.
Yeah. So it's all about procedures. And once you see, you know, once people are relaxed, the parents are relaxed, the kids are relaxed, then they start having fun. The first couple of sessions, everyone's a bit nervous. They've got to learn the circuit. We spent a lot of time, as you saw, focusing on, you know, each corner, where you need to brake, where you need to turn in, you know, what the system is for getting on and off the track. What happens if you go up an escape route that you don't just drive back on, you have to get on in a certain way. So it's the whole mishmash to make sure that, you know, there's no problems and everyone has a good day.
It's learning the basics of arriving at a race meeting.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? It's teaching and getting those parents and the kids used to, one, the disciplines that are required.
Yeah.
You know, of the getting on the grid on time, ensuring your kids ready. You know, as you're teaching that at the same time, teaching the kids to how to drive safely on the track. So the ethos of obviously the family karting of us of Zenico Racing, we look at a number of things. So we're looking at safety, which you pointed out, but also how you can help parents get into karting. So what sort of experience would a kid need to come and join you for DRS Academy?
So really, what you know, the best thing to do, you know, and we're an advocate of everybody. Karting is a you know, relatively small world. So utilise people like, you know, to begin with, Team Sport, who do a fantastic job, indoor racing, just so that the kids can get used to coordination, braking, braking and gas accelerating, and just coordination and the feel of a kart. Just don't go once or twice, you know, do 5 or 6, you know, races or test sessions, and inevitably people get bored of that quite quickly, but it is very, very important. That's why Motorsport UK and Team Sport have like a British Indoor Championship. That might be the first thing that you want to do, just to learn. We're part of the karting pathway for Motorsport UK.
Starting karting?
Yeah, starting karting. They need to do that, and then, you know, it's a big difference coming outside on a big track, and for the kids to take in, you know, they're really using peripheral vision. It's cold, it can be wet, it's much faster, the grip is completely different. As you saw today, we're the only company that uses rain tyres in Arrive and Drive, because quite frankly, otherwise today would have been a complete waste of time for the kids. As you saw the sessions, they actually listened and they started to use the wet lines and all the things, and actually got a head start on probably a lot of people who've already gone out and bought their own kart. They don't even know how to use it, so they've got to go with a team. So really, our ethos is really for a pretty low cost. You're driving an Arrive and Drive kart, but because it's got wets, because you can adjust it to how you want, it's almost like having your own kart without the big costs. The parents can learn how a Motorsport UK proper kart meeting works, and then after that, you might want to move up to DRS 100, our junior class, or you might want to go out into open karting and want all the different categories and buy your own kart, but at least you've got a bit of a plan.
You're selling the whole package, aren't you? The whole package
absolutely.
to the parents. So if we take a few steps back from there, so you've got two sets of cars. You've got DRS 35, DRS 45.
Yeah.
What's the difference between those two karts, or is it literally just a class?
It's just a class. All the karts are exactly the same. So the 35, so to try to understand it, if you're going to be an owner-driver junior kart, there's a minimum driver weight of 41 kilos. Otherwise, the karts have to carry too much ballast. So by setting it at DRS 35, the minimum driver with all their kit is 27 kilos. So from 27 kilos up to, we recommend up to 41 kilos, you want to be looking at the DRS 35. As soon as your kid hits 41 kilos, then you need to look at the 45. And obviously, if you're under the minimum weight for 35 or 45, we have our special discs, ballast discs, which lock onto the chassis. You purchase those, and obviously you buy the difference. The difference is when you come to us, in the morning when the racing karts are having scrutineering, you will also have your own scrutineering, the driver will. So you'd go to the scrutineer. If you've got some discs, you take those with you. You stand on the scale, put your discs on if you've got discs, and it's logged what you are at the beginning of the day, so you know that you're correct. If you came in after a race and you said you were in 45s and you came in at 43s, we don't say disqualified, but you'll be given last place points.
Obviously, you're moving down the grid. So the karts are the same then. Yeah. It's literally the weight of the driver.
Exactly.
And I assume that's for the safety on the track.
Exactly.
And the speeds, etc.
Exactly. But in lots of other Arrive and Drive, they don't check the drivers.
Yeah.
So obviously, you need to make sure that it's fair.
Yeah, and that's that. We did notice that today when we was watching.
Yeah.
So kit. If someone's going to come along to a session, hopefully a lot of people have been, as you say, to team sports. They might have their own race suits, their own helmets. Do you provide helmets and race suits, or the children have got to come prepared?
No, they need to get the correct thing. By the time they come to see us, they've decided they're going to be going kart racing. They just don't know who with, maybe. So the racing suit is level 2. What we call CIK, so Demon Tweaks, Grand Prix Racewear, lots of the karting outlets, everyone has the suits.
So you got CIK level 2
race suit.
CMR helmet?
So the CMR, so because they're under 15 years old, they need to go for the age from 8 to 15, which is a particular weight. So again, always invest in the helmet. So, Bell, Arai, Zamf.
So decent helmet. So
decent helmet,
decent kit to go through the scrutineers.
Yeah, because it's your child, so you need to make sure that's correct.
Gloves.
And then gloves, karting gloves and karting boots, and also the rib protector.
So do your kids who arrive have to have a rib protector, or is that a parent's choice?
That's for racing, that's obligatory.
So they have to have a rib protector to come?
Yes.
Because you are UK Motorsport,
yes,
and you
Motorsport
are
UK.
racing. And then neck brace?
Neck brace is totally up to the parent. A neck brace, when you have an accident, obviously it does help with you know, obviously the impact of the whiplash, but also, you know, when my son raced, he never wore a neck brace because they need to develop their muscles in their neck. So it's one of those really. Maybe when they're very little, when they're starting off, it's a good idea. But obviously, as they get bigger, they need to get stronger.
Because we know neck braces are a parent's choice, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
We use them.
Yeah.
We know other parents who don't.
But the rib tech, there's a lot of rib techs on the market, and again, you know, I've known Steve for many, many years. But for me, the best one, purely for the quality and also the fit, which is also important, is the Tillit P1.
That's what we use.
Yeah, because it's more like a corset. You can get some of the other rib protectors and they're quite bulbous. So actually when the kid sits in the seat, they're not in the seat enough because of the shape of the protector. So that's very important as well. Okay, and then a lot of the you know, the cheaper ones, the foam ones, they're not.
But
really,
we're doing a review very soon.
Yeah, they're not really
on racing kits. So a child who comes to you, minimum race suit, helmet, rib protector, gloves, shoes, and they've all got to be obviously regulated. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about one of the questions we get asked by a lot of parents. We go to Arrive and Drive. What if my kid breaks one of your cars?
Breaks one of my cars? Yeah. That's not your problem.
Okay, so that's all covered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that brings us nicely onto pricing. So today's Arrive and Drive Academy. So how much does it cost for a child to come for today's experience?
So the cost is $295, and the race entry is $295. That's slightly more than other operators. However, they're not running wet tyres. So, you know, as I said, we're going to be as close as you can get Arrive and Drive racing without it being.
So 295 gets you,
including that,
including VAT, gets you here on an Arrive and Drive, and as we found out today, it's a whole day. So Zach and Fletcher were out 6 times today. Throughout the thing, and I have to say the timing was really good. It was quite quick how they got back off and got their rest times and back in. So that's 10 minutes each session, roughly.
So basically the format for this year is on the early rounds, we're going to be running on the Saturday Academy and Test Day grid. So it's our intention to run one full grid of racing, and obviously sometimes on a Saturday you have DRS 45 and DRS 35 on the Sunday. Then the next round they'll switch. Okay. So let's say for round 1 we've got DRS 35.
So we're talking about the championships now?
Yes, DRS 35 is racing on the Saturday.
So how much is the entrance fee for the race? So you got 295 to come and do an academy. And if the child decides to progress onto your 2024 series. So how many?
Well, there's a couple of options.
What are the options?
So the options are, it's 8-round series.
That's how many rounds?
Okay, 8 rounds. And the classes take it in turns, which one is racing which day, because you only race on one day. Okay. Because we're all over the country. But for example, round 1, DRS 45 is on Saturday and DRS 35 is racing on Sunday. We'll run a maximum grid at round 1 of 20 drivers. We'll then run a second grid on the Saturday, and that will be labelled as an academy grid and optional practice for the DRS 35 that's racing on the Sunday. If they wanted to come on the Saturday, they could get a practice day like today. Okay. And that is £195.
So that's 195 for the first race weekend, as we call it. But they're racing for the one day. And then for the whole series, have they got to pay each time, or is there?
Yeah. So if you were a DS 35, at the round 1, you're racing on the Sunday. There's a grid which is academy and also optional practice. So that's 195. So the academy at the race will be cheaper, 195. If then they're racing on the Sunday, it's 295. They don't have to do the Saturday, but we need a vehicle, a session, to be able to train more drivers to make sure they're the correct standard and understand the flags and move
So
it.
if we relate that to a standard owner's day practice, the Saturday is your practice session, and then the Sunday is your qualifying, and then your actual rounds. So it's 195 for the qualifying day, and then 295 for the actual race. But then everything's provided kart-wise.
That's right. But obviously, if you're racing on a Saturday, you can't do the optional practice. So you
This is why you swap around.
Swap around. So effectively, you're correct. There's through the year, out of 8 rounds, there's four weekends where you could you could get the extra practice on the Saturday. If not, you're just paying the 295 for the Sunday.
And on the Sunday, is there a few practice laps, or do you go straight into qualifying?
No, so the format is the same as the owner drivers. Okay, so you will get a 10-minute warm-up on race day. You then get an 8-minute time qualifying. You then get a heat, which is 9 minutes plus 1 lap. You then get your pre-final, which is 9 minutes plus 1 lap. And then we take your points from qualifying, from the heat, and from the pre-final, and the highest scoring points, that gets you your position in the grand final. So you might have had a poor qualifying, but then you might have had 2 good heats. So that's the way that we do it. And then over the season, and it doesn't necessarily have to be from one block of a round, you could drop your qualifying from round 1 as your worst score, a heat from somewhere else. So you end up with your 7 best qualifying points, 7 best heats, 7 best pre-final, and 7 best grand final.
Okay, and that's over the periods. But if someone just wants to come and do round 1, round 3, round 4, they can do that?
So basically, if you join as a member, which is 295 for the year, that gets you into a private part of the website where you can enter races. There's track maps. There's a couple of helpful videos and some links to a few different things. And obviously then, if you join as a member, you get priority over any guest entries. You can do 1 round as a guest. So if you wanted to do round 1, you don't need to be a member. You can score points. You do that race, see if you like it. You needed to have either raced in another Arrive and Drive and have proof of your results, so that we know
so
that
you prove you're competent on the safe
absolutely.
On the track.
Or you have to do an academy and pass that. And then after you've done 1 race, if you want to do another round, at that point you have to join as a full member.
So I'm going to test your maths now. How much would it cost a parent to put a child through your whole 2024 series from start to finish?
I'm not very good at maths, so more or less, if we call it £300 a round, so it's 295. 3/8 is 20. That's 2,400.
Yeah.
Where's Carol Vorderman when you need her?
We should work this out before we sat down, shouldn't we?
And if you're doing...
Let's shout to the crowd. Who's got a calculator?
Yes.
I'm about to do it now. So 8 times 295.
Yeah. So it's that, and let's say if you came on one of the Saturdays and did an academy session on Saturday, that's 195. So it's 195 plus 8, and then it's 8 lots of 295.
2,555.
There you go.
2,555.
That's
so
it.
2,555.
Now can I have a consonant, please, Carol?
One for the top. So 2,555. Yeah. So that's going to be the maximum you will pay to do your whole series, plus, including your memberships.
Plus plus their membership, which is 295.
So it's
come on, Carol.
Come, yeah.
So we've got 8 times 295, 1 times 195.
2,850.
2,850. 2,850 for your full season. But say a
plus
parent,
their helmet,
plus their kit, which we would hope they would have their equipment to go into a series like that. So just a few more bits. We've gone through your costs. Big one. We know you use wet tyres, and other Arrive and Drive doesn't, but what sets you aside from other Arrive and Drive out there?
So it will be announced next week.
It's just a scoop. We got a scoop.
Well, yeah, you can have next week, and it'll be in the regulations. So, for a child that is of the right age, so that is in the year of their 12th birthday, if they win DRS 35 or DRS 45, they win a brand new DRS 100 junior kart, which is worth nearly £5,000.
Wow, so that's for the winner.
That's the winner. If the driver is not the right age to utilise that, then obviously there's no point, because we don't want you to just sell it, because we want you to join the series. That's our goal, to train drivers up in this, and hopefully then they get their own kart. So you can win a kart. If you're not the right age, then you'll do the next season, and that will be free of charge in Arrive and Drive.
So basically, if your child wins, you're going to get a free kart, and if they're under the age, they get the next season free.
Yep.
Sounds like a fantastic prize.
Good.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, quickly.
And we also have the Daniel Ricciardo Series awards evening. So last year was, I think, nearly 170 people. So we have a dinner, and the top 5 get trophies. Daniel is very kind and sends presents. In the past, he's sent some of the mini helmets,
the signed ones.
Yeah, so he does that, or he's done that in the past. And we have like proper live music. It's a really good social thing.
Look forward to my invite.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have that as well. And then I guess what you're trying to do, or what we would like people to do, is obviously come through this system, hopefully come into our junior category, become owners, get involved.
This is going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So you've got the Arrive and Drive, which we've been talking about now. So your child does really well, you go for the season, and then they can then go out and purchase, and if they win the season, their own DRS kart.
Yeah.
And that's its own class, isn't it, within UK motorsport?
Yes.
So you'll be racing against other DRS
so
karts.
we have DRS 100, which is from the year of your 12th, and that can go up to 16. Or when you're 15, you can go into DRS 125, which is our senior class. And our oldest driver, Mark, is 60 this year. I think this is his last year.
Last year driving his car.
Yeah, so that's the progression. And also in those classes, if you win the championship, then you win a drive in our World Championships, which is with our partners, which are in Italy. It's known as Easy Kart, but it's the same kart, same tyres.
And so if you win, you go to Italy.
You get given a kart to use from a Wednesday to a Sunday, and you can race in Italy at Franciacorta, and that's the prize that we do every year. So there's lots of, what I'm saying is, for parents, you can see what's in front of you, and you can see what, your alternative, if you don't want to follow the Daniel Ricciardo path and the Easy Kart World Finals and be a part of something where it's always equal, it's not about how much money you've got. So your alternative is you go out into open karting, which is more complicated with the engines, with the chassis, and then you need a team, and then your costs are going to,
hence why we do this, escalate. So we talked about that just quickly now. Your karts, they're based on the Rotax, so they're Rotax engines, aren't they?
The Arrive and Drive, yes. So the spec is, so we also do the Vega tyres, so the Vega wets. We have to supply the Motorsport UK cadet classes, Honda, Micromax and Water Swift restricted. So we supply those tyres. Those are the tyres exactly the same that we're using on the DRS Arrive and Drive. And we're also using the Rotax Micromax in the restricted form. So basically you're racing, in effect, the engine and the tyres from the Motorsport UK cadet class, but you're using it on a heavier duty chassis to stop the damage, and also a bit more safe. So yeah, that's as close as you can get to owning your first cadet kart.
Perfect. Well, we've got no further questions.
Okay,
got anything
good.
For us. Thank you so much.
I'm dried off
time.
now.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm a bit dry now. It's been a wet day. Lovely to be here. Thanks so much for the experience.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you ever so much for today.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, you're welcome.